While my interests tend to trend more towards the marketing and PR aspects of selling things or selling a company's brand, Ariel was highly interested in advertising, and as we determined it would likely be easier to find more advertising individuals in this local area, as we are both without sets of wheels, we went in that direction. We spoke with advertising practitioners from the Express and from WSQV Radio, which are about, maybe 20 yards away from each other, just downtown. Very convenient. We spoke with Jacqueline Brown of the Express and Marie Haywood of WSQV. First, let's learn about Jacqueline Brown. She has always been interested in the creative aspects of life. She went to school, a lot of it. She has 4 degrees. 1 in speech comm, 1 in transcription, and 2 in baking. The baking, she said, is actually what helps grant her a lot of the creativity that she utilizes in her creativity aspects of her advertising responsibilities. She's only been at the Express for 3 years, and only 1 has been in a managerial position. Marie Haywood is a very different story. She began 17 years ago, uninterested in radio or advertising. A friend came to her that was associated with the radio and gave her a sheet of advertising deals and told her to hit the street and sell them. She immediately fell in love with this kind of work, and she stuck to it. For 17 years now, she's been at the same company, doing the same thing, though escalating responsibilities and pay, I'm sure, as well. Here's a question for all of you. Did any of you interview anyone with no degree at all, no higher education? Might have, if you don't ask about it, might not get that information. However, Marie Haywood was very clear to make it certain that we understood that she had no higher education, was from high school. She started working, some things worked out, some things didn't work out, and then eventually she ended up at WSUV, and that's worked out very well. She did most of her learning through her own initiative, readings. She bought her own textbooks on the field and learned it herself. But she said more importantly than that was on-the-job experience and stating, you can learn something from anyone. Now, there's a lot of similar aspects in both of these people's positions. Let me ask you this. What do you think is the most important similar attribute between radio and newspaper? Anyone? Can I get single words? Anything?
Listen, you have the right book.
Yeah, you have the right book. Not quite what I'm looking for. Any other ideas?
Ads.
Ads. Ads. They are both fueled by advertising. Has anyone here ever paid for radio? Satellite radio, maybe, but... we pay for newspapers, but what is it? Pennies on the dollar, really. Do you think short little subscriptions of all the individuals can pay for all the equipment and manpower needed to produce a newspaper? I think not. Advertising is key in both of these industries. You know what else is key? Teamwork. This should not come as a surprise. We've been told that teamwork is key from the time we got to college, probably before that. And for both of them, they say it's all team-based, with the entire group working together. Sales reps, art department, supervisors, and managers all have to come together. Haywood referenced her analogous wheel with many spokes, with each person in responsibility being a spoke on the wheel. Were one spoke to be missing, or one responsibility to be skipped over, the whole thing could fall apart. Another highly important aspect of both of their positions is the customer service. Typically when I think customer service, I think grocery store, restaurant. But in this sense, we're talking about customer service with customers that are investing very heavily in your business. They're giving you their money to produce advertisements to benefit them, and regardless of whether they're paying $50 or $5,000, it's what they can pay, and it's important to them. They both emphasize that you want to be very personable, of course, to deal with people on an everyday basis, but you also have to have thick skin, as you will come across individuals that are not always on your side. And another piece of advice that Haywood had to offer was do not leave people with unrealistic expectations. This is a fault that many people in sales departments, I'm sure, are guilty of. You tell someone that something's going to completely change their lives or their business, and they're met with underwhelming results. And this will often tend to get people upset with you, and you're not likely to get much more business from them. Have some integrity, she said. Another important aspect that both of these positions shares is going out and seeking people to advertise with you. You would assume that there will be constants. You'll have your consistent customers that know they benefit from advertising with you, and they do it consistently, but that's not all the time, and it's not always enough. So it's an everyday thing that they must be going out, both them in managerial positions and their sales reps have to be going out and convincing people to invest in advertising on their mediums. Marie Haywood had a 5-5-5 rule she liked to follow. Every single day, she would make 5 cold calls, 5 service calls, and try to seal 5 contracts. Now, for all the similarities that these positions share, there is bound to be some differences. I expected there to be more, honestly, given the differing mediums, one being radio and one being newspaper. But in all reality, the responsibilities and duties of these 2 managerial positions don't differ very much. The one thing that stood out to be very different was Haywood's workload. And I got the impression that she may put it on herself, because she may not trust other people that are under her to handle the situations as well as she thinks she can. She said that when the work day's done for everyone else, she may go home, but the work doesn't cease. She's still making calls, she's still handling customer service, and she said it sometimes works up to nearly 80-hour work weeks. And this is a result of her working at a small station. She says people in her position at larger radio stations may have a little bit less to worry about, but given the small nature of this business, she has to, and I quote, do it all. In the end, they both offered some advices to aspiring advertisers who are looking to graduate from college in the near future. It makes perfect sense as well. Who said what? One of them said, internship, internship, internship. The other said, just go do it. Obviously, the one that had plenty of education and internships is the one that said, get an internship. And the one that jumped right into it said, just go do it. But what's key is that both of them focus on the on-the-job education, saying that, yeah, you can do a lot of learning here in the classroom or from a textbook, but the most valuable lessons you'll learn are in your everyday experiences. Is there any questions?
Did maybe interviewing these people stray you away from just wanting to do advertising?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really leaning more towards advertising to start with. I'm a very, a lot of other people have this pinpoint goal. They're aiming for the bullseye. I'll be happy if I hit the board. If I'm making money using my words, I will be content. Whether it's persuasive, informative. So, I mean, it opened another idea to me. I may be interested in this kind of work. I like the persuasive element of it. Both of them said it really feels great when you get that deal finally, but it's an option for me. Thank you very much.